Dublin drew with Offaly. They had their problems putting Wexford away. They conceded a lot of goals at the start of the championship. And Dublin went in with a fair bit of expectation around them. And traditionally, that has not suited them. They have found it hard to live up to that. And there's all sorts of historical and cultural reasons why Dublin teams will never beat a Kilkenny team easily.
Yeah.
And my sense of it yesterday was that Dublin would have to be 5 or 6 points better than Kilkenny to win by 2. And I think actually in the end of it, they were about 10 or 11 points better than Kilkenny to win by 7. That's kind of how the game went. Dublin had total faith in the way they were trying to hurl. That's the big thing under Neil O'Callaghan's reign. You can tell they've total confidence in their system, the way they move the ball, the way they defend. And whereas Kilkenny were trying to play a game that didn't really suit them, and bar a couple of honourable mentions, they were miles off it.
Yeah, it was how Dublin, they wore it so lightly, like this big occasion, and it was an arm's length performance. Kilkenny looked like they had a bit of a gallop. Dublin didn't.
Yeah, Eoin O'Donnell was out, and then Liam Rush pulled up in the warm up, so they were missing 2 very important defenders. And John Bellew came in and scored 2 points in play, and Conor McKeon came in and he was brilliant. And that's a huge thing. They played with a sweeper yesterday, but in a weird way, it was almost like an offensive play because once the ball broke down, all the Dublin defenders had to do was make the ball hit the ground, and Brian Hayes inevitably would swoop in. And once you have that extra player and you have possession, you now have an overlap. You just have to keep changing position as it went up the pitch, and then broadly nullified the extra man. They kind of vacated the 10 and 12 channels, and somehow they managed to play with a sweeper, but also kept 3 up. And they used John Heatherton brilliantly in the first half, and they used Ronan Hayes brilliantly in the second half. So, they're quickly gaining a reputation as one of the more, I suppose, just tactically on top of it teams out there. They're using these players incredibly well. There was nobody calling for John Heatherton to spearhead the Dublin attack when Neil O'Callaghan took over, and yet here he is. Same thing when Liam Rush came back. There was no talk that they needed Liam Rush back after 4 years away to shore up the defence. Granted, he didn't play yesterday, but the change in how they've defended has meant they've had 3 clean sheets in a row. So slowly they're getting better. And yesterday up front, Conor Loreen had a great game. Didn't go well for David Purcell, but there's a couple of young attackers, and if they come on even this summer, you could see Dublin becoming challengers again, because all they're doing really is this is where Dublin hurling should be. They shouldn't be beating Kilkenny every year, but if you go back to 2013, if you'd have said that would be the last time in 13 years that Dublin would beat Kilkenny, nobody would have believed it at the time. I think everybody would have thought that was the start of something rather than the culmination of it. But there are very positive signs. Yesterday kind of put the tin hat on it now that they are getting back to a place where they can be competitive again.
Yeah, Liam Rush might not have believed that he'd still be here 13
possibly not
years later. Colm, in terms of Kilkenny, because that is potentially the bigger story, and that's probably saying something about Dublin and their progress as well. But Conor said about Kilkenny nosediving, but I think the eye test sort of suggests that as well, that they have been on the decline, but they still won 6 Leinster Championships in a row. Like I mentioned, I looked the last 4 years, they've actually been beaten by the eventual All-Ireland winners every year in either the semi-final or the final, and most of those by narrow margins. So even the last 2 years, they lost to Tip by 2, lost to Clare by 2, they lost to Limerick in a final 2 years in a row, one of them by 2 points. So Kilkenny still had that Kilkenny-ness about them, but my God, they're out of the whole thing now just suddenly.
Yeah, I actually think it is the bigger story that Kilkenny are out of the championship. It wasn't that just that they lost to Dublin. Defeat puts them out. Obviously, they haven't been knocked out of the round robin since its inception in 2018. And you could say that this has been coming, but I still never expected that they would not be one of the top 3. I think Kilkenny have done very well over the last number of years to retain a certain standard. Right back to the 2022 All-Ireland final. You remember in the first half time in the All-Ireland final against Limerick, they were ahead.
Yeah.
They were going really well, albeit there was a wind factor there. But Limerick had to come with what was probably one of their top 3 or 4 halves in the John Kiley, one of their best halves of hurling in that second half. And you remember Diarmaid Byrnes, how good he was. But all round, Limerick really went to a high level in 2023. And even in 2024, it took Tony Kelly to ignite late on. And last year there was the confusion over the scoreboard. They were so close to Tipperary, who went on to win an All-Ireland. So every one of the last 4 years, you've pointed out, they've been beaten by the All-Ireland finalists. But it was always on the premise, on the basis that they had a very, very strong 15. And once holes started appearing that, obviously Hugh Lawler went travelling, a real pillar of that Kilkenny team at fullback. Billy Ryan, who had a really strong year last year, he went travelling. And you have to say, the TJ Reid of the past 2 decades almost, that wasn't the TJ Reid that we saw this year. Even when you were looking for a spark or something yesterday, he couldn't really provide it. And obviously he's at an age now where most players are becoming managers or coaches of teams, and he's done remarkably well in his career to stay as long as he had, but he just can't carry them anymore. And they had Adrian Mullen on the bench. So all of those excuses are there. I don't think they'll be reaching for any of them. The fact remains that the conveyor belt in Kilkenny has really ground to a halt. Yes, they have players, but they don't have players of the standard that they once carried through, that just kept coming and coming. They don't, like, there's not a Hugh Lawler there yet that improved out of nowhere. Hugh Lawler didn't play minor for Kilkenny, but he became this great full-back. There's no sign of anyone like that so far. The 2022 All-Ireland under-20 team that beat Limerick, a Limerick team without Cathal O'Neill, hasn't really produced any players of any great consequence. Maybe Aidan Tallis in goals. He'd probably be the future Kilkenny goalkeeper after Owen Murphy now. But they haven't produced from that team by comparison to Limerick. So it is an issue. Now, you talk to people in Kilkenny and the likes of Tommy Walsh and Richie Power, who are involved with academy and underage squads, and they say at a certain age, these players are coming, and they're confident about it. And even Derek Ling sounded that note of confidence yesterday. But in the short term, I think Kilkenny are down. I think to win 6 Leinster titles in a row is a reflection on their own reputation, but also on the paucity of the Leinster Championship and those in pursuit, particularly Galway and Dublin, that they didn't manage to get in and break that sequence up before now. But I think in the short term, Kilkenny are in a bit of trouble.